everybody. We are live from the deck. Isn't it beautiful behind me? Finally, a really good Monday night. Fingers and toes crossed that I don't get rained out down here. Done this before and had some sprinkles on me, so fingers crossed my equipment stays safe. So hi Kim, thanks for joining us up there on Facebook. I appreciate it. For any of you that are watching over on YouTube, can you give me a thumbs up or let me know if you can hear me okay and if the video is going well? I'm doing this a little bit differently and I just want to make sure that the stream isn't lagging too much. So, but super excited to see everybody. Can't wait for a few more people to get in here. I know I started it about a minute early, so we'll give it a couple of minutes. It normally takes a few people to start showing up. My phone just notified me I'm live. That's awesome. I haven't had it do that to me before. Must be getting better at this. Oh, too funny. So before I get into talking about the Walt Disney World Resorts, I did want to talk about a couple of other things real quick, just housekeeping kind of things. I want to send out a very special thank you to the family that just got back from Walt Disney World Resort. Thank you guys so much. I had so much fun. I've enjoyed your photos and I can't wait to reach out to you guys and talk to you about your week at Disney. And super happy that we got all of your dining reservations, even though the one was last minute, and just glad that you guys had a good time. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of that. That was a lot of fun. And also very big thank you to another client. I don't believe that they tend to be on Facebook, but hopefully they'll maybe watch our YouTube on the replay. Thank you so much for letting me plan your trip to Galveston. And I got your email and heck yeah, we'll do Alaska. So super excited, like, yay! I can't wait to help you guys plan that one. So if you guys are interested in doing vacations that are not necessarily the parks, definitely reach out to me because I do those too. I do national parks. I do Alaska. I've got people going to Hawaii next month. I've got some people that, like I said, last week or 2 weeks ago that are interested in Punta Cana, doing Punta Cana. I just had somebody else reach out to me this past week about Costa Rica. Super excited about that one. I hope that they choose Planet Hollywood because that's the one I want to stay at when we're there. So anywho, definitely just make sure that if you are interested in doing any kind of travel, reach out to me because there's a good possibility that I've already sent somebody there or I have a lot of knowledge about it or we've been there ourselves and we can get you there. So let me get back up here on the Facebook live stream. Hi, Kim. Thank you for joining us. Hello. Kathleen, thank you for watching. Scott is watching. He is upstairs keeping an eye on Nick for me this evening. And very happy birthday to Mike yesterday. Big 71. So happy birthday. That's exciting. And obviously, I didn't get to call and talk to you yesterday. Thank you so much. Doing it for both of us. I do appreciate it. So hi Chris, how are you over there on the YouTube stream? How is it sounding? Can you kind of give me a heads up? Is it lagging at all? Just so I have an idea of what's happening. So, but yeah. What's interesting, I also want to give a shout out to my nephew Brayton because his birthday was also yesterday. And I didn't realize like it, and I do this, like I'll forget and then like I'll surprise all over again the following year. Oh, Brayton and Mike share birthday. So it's interesting because JT and my brother Josh also share birthdays. So it's really wild, 365 days a year. And so many people in our family share birthdays. It's wild. You are really big on my TV. Well, just enjoy this and you can ignore this. Just enjoy the ambience and the waves going when the waves go. So, but Other than that, you are buffering really, really bad. I was worried about that, Chris. This is, like I said, more so on the YouTube this evening. I am out on the deck and just trying this out, seeing how it works with our Wi-Fi signal, and seeing if I can get it going well. If not, obviously we'll figure something else out for next week. May or may not be down here, but I wanted to try it because I don't have a lot of stuff to talk about this evening. Hopefully I won't go a full hour. God knows I can, but I'm hoping that we can kind of try it out, see what we think of it moving forward, because I do like taking advantage of this deck and this view when I can. So with all that being said, I don't really have any news this week that I wanted to talk about between the parks or anything. Obviously, there has been, not as bad as Noah's grad live stream. Oh, thank God for that. That was bad. So definitely, I completely lost my train of thought because then I got thinking about Noah's graduation video that I put out. And if you haven't seen that, go ahead and watch it, because Noah was so cute and little. And then he got bigger. And I felt really bad. We went to Universal and Disney a few times last year, and I don't have very many photos of him or of JT because they were off and doing their own thing. And so I've got like a million photos and videos of Nick and maybe a handful of the other two when we went, because they went and they rode Rip Ride Rocket 8 times in a row and was doing all kinds of stuff. So it was interesting, and I had a lot of fun putting that video together. So if you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Because obviously Noah had a birthday last week, and he is officially an adult. He turned 18. So I've only got one baby boy in the house who's 5, and everybody else is considered adults. So it's kind of sad. He'll still be my babies, though. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into what I wanted to talk to everybody about, which was the Walt Disney resorts that are in Florida. I don't know why I'm like drawing a blank on that. I apologize. So one of the very first things that I have a lot of people ask me about, if they've never been or if it's been a few years, is they're like, okay, where am I going to stay when I do Disney? And with pretty much all of my Walt Disney Resort packages, I tell people that they really need to stay on property because there's the free transportation for you to be able to get back and forth to the parks. You really feel like you're in a bubble. I mean, you're in a bubble that is twice the size of Manhattan when you stay at a Disney resort. You really do not feel the outside whatsoever. Even though it's not an all-inclusive offering, it is a very inclusive offering in the sense of you're really there, you're really in the magic. And so it really does create a very unique and fun atmosphere for you that you can't necessarily get when you're staying offsite in Kissimmee or in downtown Orlando and commuting back and forth. I mean, that I-4 is going to knock you out of it very, very quickly. So that's my first thing that I would tell everybody. The other thing is it gets really confusing and it gets really hard for people because there are 32 resorts that are on property at Walt Disney World, and 22 of those are like Disney owned properties, which is mind boggling. And when you think about it, and you're like, oh, well, I thought all of them were Disney properties. Well, technically, like the Swan and Dolphin, those are not Disney properties. They're owned by third party Starwood. And so when we book those, obviously we still get similar amenities that you would when you're staying on a Disney property, but it's a little bit different. So that's the first thing is you got to figure out if you do want to stay on property, do you want to stay in a Disney resort or do you want to stay in one of the third party resorts? Now, full disclosure, we have not stayed in any of the third party resorts as of yet. I would really like to stay at the Swan and Dolphin someday. Because they are literally steps from Epcot, and I think that would be a lot of fun, but it's just not something that we've done yet. Obviously, we are building our repertoire and building our YouTube and stuff a little bit more at a time. And I can't wait to experience all these different resorts and stuff for you guys so I can give you more and more firsthand knowledge. Now, I will say, for the sake of this video and talking to everybody tonight, I am only going to talk about the Walt Disney World resorts that are owned by Walt Disney World. And those are going to be your value resorts, your moderate resorts, and your deluxe resorts. Now, the differences between them is value resorts, obviously, they're going to be your lowest price point, which is still expensive for Disney, because you're on Disney property. But you're going to have like your entries into your rooms are going to be outside. So kind of more of a motel type thing. Where you have an outside walkway and then you enter your room. You're not going to have an inside hallway or anything like that like you do in most standard hotels. That's one big difference. They do have very big pools and they're very well themed pools, but you're not going to have any slides in your, at any of the value resorts. So that's another thing that you're going to have to think about is how much time are you going to be spending at the pool? How important is it for you to have a themed pool with slides and different water features and stuff for you and your kids to play in? Other things with value resorts is they do tend to be fairly far out from the main parks. And I mean like Epcot and Magic Kingdom. For instance, the All-Star Movies, Music, and Sports Resorts, technically those are in the Animal Kingdom area. It still takes a bit to get over to Animal Kingdom just because it takes a bit for everything to get to Animal Kingdom except for Animal Kingdom Lodge because it's literally like attached to it. Not that you can get into it from Animal Kingdom. I probably shouldn't have said it quite that way. But hi, Becky. Thanks for joining us up there on Facebook. So, and then if I get into our moderate resorts, because I feel like I'm just going to ramble on and on about the values, you're going to have a little bit better food courts. You're going to have a couple extra dining options instead of just a food court. You're going to have I don't want to say specialty dining, but you're going to probably have a table service dining option at each one, if not 2 or 3. You're going to have more options for room types, and you're going to have a slightly better pool. I think pretty much all of them are going to have water slides at that point, and those are going to be in your main pools, not necessarily your like outbuilding area pools and things like that. So that one is definitely one to think about. And then your deluxe resorts, now those are the ones that they cost a pretty penny. But in a lot of ways, they're worth it because you're very close to the parks. For instance, Contemporary, Polynesian, Grand Floridian, all of those are on the monorail loop that's right there at the Magic Kingdom. So you are literally minutes away from being able to step into Magic Kingdom. And that is incredible. You can watch the fireworks right from your resort. So that is a really, really big benefit. Other benefits with the deluxe resorts are you get more options for transportation. For instance, Wilderness Lodge is considered a deluxe resort, but it's not on the monorail loop. However, you have the boat transportation, and the boat can take you phone, wrong phone, down, right phone. Okay, sounds good. Thanks for joining me over there on YouTube, Mike and Deb. I appreciate it. And happy belated birthday, Mike, now that I see that you're on here. So, Wilderness Lodge, you've got boat transportation that takes you straight over to Magic Kingdom. That is a really great feature. And not just because I'm in love with the boat transportation. So that is a couple of the benefits that you have with the deluxe resort. Now, I want to take it a little bit further. A lot of people will ask me, well, is this worth it? And the short answer is, I can't make that decision for you. As much as I wish that I could, the only thing I can do is I can give you why I like it and some of the benefits that I have seen with our stays there. Sorry, I just had a bug fly right into my forehead. I can give you things as to why I enjoy it and why my family had a great time there, but things that my family enjoys, your family may not. things that um, I am like, absolutely not. I don't want anything to do with it. You might be like, that's the greatest thing ever. Oh my gosh. So, kind of coming back into that galactic star cruiser where you're very much immersed into the star cruiser. And so you feel like you're literally on a star cruiser and you're out in space and you're a part of the story, and you get out of it what you want. Very similar thing. Some people are going to absolutely love that, and other people that are more introverted are going to be like, "Oh, this is too much. This is too much for me." And you're going to have the same thing depending on which resorts you're looking at. So, when people reach out to me and they're like, "Oh, well, whichever one that you think about," well, there's a few of them for me to think about. So, I need to narrow down. So, for instance, um, really important to you, and you are trying to keep your budget down, but you still want to be able to be fairly close. I shouldn't say fairly close to stuff, because when you go down into the value resorts and stuff, you're going to have issues with that. Hands down, I'm probably always going to tell you, of the value resorts, try to stay at the Pop Century. And the reason why is Pop Century's got a great food court. They've got a couple of really decent pools that you can choose from, as well as they not only have the bus system, but they also have the Skyliner. Now, some people are not into the Skyliner at all. It scares the Jesus out of me. It's not my favorite thing. I will do it, but it's not like me going, "Oh, I get to ride the monorail. I'm so excited." And I'm like, I have to ride the Skyliner. Take a deep breath. I'm facing forward. We're not going to fall. We'll be fine. That is how I am every time I get on that Skyliner. So it really just depends on what's best for you. If you're terrified of heights and you don't want anything to do with that, well, then maybe Pop Century isn't going to be the best fit, because you're not going to like the buses don't always run as often because you've got the Skyliner available. So that's something I need to know, because otherwise, how would I know that that was what that's an issue? And then you don't have a great time because you had issues getting back and forth to the parks that you wanted to get to, for instance, Hollywood Studios or even Epcot, because you stayed at Pop Century and they reduced the bus line. Because they didn't have to have as many buses, because not as many people are using the buses. They're taking the Skyliner across. So that's one thing that I definitely need to know about. Another thing is, for instance, Grand Floridian. This is a beautiful resort. It is very similar to the Del Coronado that's in San Diego. It's absolutely beautiful. Every time I go there, I feel so underdressed, and I realize you're at Disney. You are in Central Florida. It is hot. It is miserable. Like, you step outside and you immediately have a mustache of sweat because you're just starting to get drenched as soon as you step outside. So you dress for comfort. You don't dress for style, because that's just insanity. And every time I go there, generally I am in a t-shirt or I am in a tank top and a pair of yoga pants, and I'm like, I'm not dressed well enough to be able to be in this resort. It makes me uncomfortable. Some people absolutely love it. I do love it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, but there's a level of comfort there for me personally that it would be hard for me to stay there unless I was doing it like December to March, and I could pack my outfits accordingly for how I feel like I should look when I'm there. And not to say that it's necessarily a dress code or anything. This is my personal preference. A lot of people are like, nope, I don't care. Like, that's where I want to stay because I am steps from Magic Kingdom, and I'm going to wear my belly shirt every single day because it's hot, and I don't care what anybody says. And you know what? You do you. That is amazing. Good for you. I love that. If you are more on the self-conscious side, like I am, maybe staying at the Polynesian or even the Contemporary or Wilderness Lodge is going to be a better fit for you, because you're going to feel more comfortable where you're staying. And that's a really big thing. A lot of people don't think about, oh, am I actually going to be comfortable where I'm staying? Because you're like, oh, it's just a place for me to like sleep. And yeah, it is a place for you to sleep. But at the same time, what happens when you want to go get a nightcap? What happens when you go to get breakfast because you're doing a late late entry into the parks, so you're not going straight to the parks first thing in the morning. Um, Maybe you have a resort day where you're just going to be enjoying the pools. So you're definitely going to want to look at those resorts and go, is this something that I'm going to be comfortable with, that I'm going to enjoy this resort for however many hours that I'm going to be here? Because, like, if you're not comfortable there while you're there, it's going to sour the rest of your trip. And so that's a very important thing for you to think about. Another thing is a lot of people have asked me, like, okay, well, I want to do here's a for instance, food and wine festival. I have some people that are thinking about going, and they're all adults, and they're going to share a room, and they're like, we want to go and we want to be able to enjoy the food and wine festival. Okay, first off, they're going to do park hoppers, because they're going to do like Magic Kingdom in the morning for a few hours, go back to their room. Then they're going to go in the late afternoon, evening, enjoy Epcot. Okay. And that's where they're going to enjoy the Food and Wine Festival and the World Showcase, and see the show and all that fun stuff. But the thing is with that, they really need to be staying at the Beach and Yacht Club or at the Boardwalk, even Swan and Dolphin, because after they've had their drinks and they've walked around the World Showcase and they've had their meals and stuff and they're tired, it's a quick walk from the World Showcase right back to their room, which is absolutely amazing. And it's a really great thing because, you know what? I'm right here. I don't have to drive. I'm going to go ahead and have another 2 more beers over at the Germany Pavilion, because I love that grapefruit beer. Oh, it is so good. I would definitely do that, especially if I'm staying right over there in Beach Club. I'm going to go ahead and have that extra drink. I'm going to go ahead and have another mosa over there, like whatever it is that you enjoy. Or you're going to close down the park and mosey your way on out after everything's done. I think that's a great way for them to be able to enjoy their vacation. And they're going to enjoy it so much more because they're not going to have to fight to get to the front of the park after fireworks. They're not going to have to wait for their bus forever, because Epcot, for whatever reason, it takes so long to get your bus when you are at Epcot. I don't know what it is, but it takes forever. Finally made it in here. Can't they take the boats from Epcot to the hotel? Not from inside of Epcot. I don't think they're able to do that now. You can take the boat from outside of Epcot's World Showcase, and you could take it over to Hollywood Studios if you didn't want to do the Skyliner. So, but as I was saying, it's just a really great option for them in particular to be able to stay at one of those resorts, because then it's really easy for them. And somebody said something else. Okay, so another scenario, and a couple of these are hypothetical that I've thought about. Other ones I've had firsthand experience with. I had actually my people that just got back this past week. The one thing that we couldn't do for them was getting them to be able to dive at the pools in Epcot. I shouldn't say pools, in the aquariums that they have in Epcot. They used to have an experience where if you were a certified diver, you were able to actually dive in the big pool and stuff that they have in the Seas Pavilion. Hopefully they're going to be bringing it back. I was told when I was there in May that they had brought divers back in and were starting to recertify everybody so that they could start doing it, but they had no idea what the timeline was going to be for it. So fingers crossed, eventually they'll bring it back. But because they're such big divers and like water people, they really enjoy the pools and things like that. I was like, you guys need to stay at the yacht or the beach club, preferably the beach club, just because I like that one just a little bit better. So it tends to be the one that I recommend first, even though they're basically right there together. They're like twin resorts, and they share the pool area. But that is the largest pool that's on property. It has a giant water slide. There is so many things that you could do right there. And then my personal favorite has Beaches and Cream, which has nothing to do with them. Just I love ice cream, and I'm like, you gotta go get the kitchen sink. Let's go. But That was a big recommendation for me because you guys are always in the water. Obviously, you're not scuba diving, but it's a really, really great pool where you can go and you can have fun with your family and the little ones, and really take it up a notch in doing something that you enjoy where you're in the water. So that was a big recommendation that I had for them. And then let me think here. Sorry for that. Another resort that a lot of people overlook, and I used to be the person that overlooked it, and I don't understand why now that I've stayed there, is the Coronado Springs Resort. And it's set up more as a convention center type resort. There is definitely Walt and Mickey within the theming, and you can see a lot of it and stuff, but it's set up so that it's not overpowering. Like for instance, when you go to Pop Century or any of the All Star resorts, and you see all the characters all over the place that are larger than life and stuff. You're not going to have that there because it's Coronado Springs. You're going to have um, the pool that has the giant pyramid, and that's going to be the pyramid is actually your water slide down into the pool. It's really beautiful and amazing, and you're going to have a really, really good food court. You're going to have so many dining options. I'm like, when we stayed there last year, I was like, this is not a moderate resort. And why is this pricing so much lower than some of the other moderate resorts? Was my other question, because you've got um, you've got the Rick's Burgers, which is right there in the food court area, and it's kind of like a bar scene, but they've got really good burgers, shrimp, a couple of other things on the menu that are really, really good. Um, there's also um, it's called Three Bridges. I can't remember what the rest of the name is called, but it's Three Bridges. Basically, they have this giant lagoon that is bigger than the river behind me, like wider than the river behind me, and it they have these three bridges that connect all together in the middle, and they have a bar that is set up right there that also does foods and stuff like that. They have a fantastic sangria flight is one of the things that you can get there, as well as drinks and such. And it's a really great place for you to eat. Again, one of the best food courts I've ever seen at any resort, regardless of it if it was Disney or not. Fantastic food court. They also have a Mexican dining restaurant that is right there on property, that is phenomenal. Oh my gosh, it is amazing. And then you have Grandestino Tower, which has in the very bottom, on the base floor, they have a bar and seating area right there that has the subtle hidden Mickeys and stuff in the backdrop, which is really beautiful. If you are questioning what I'm talking about, definitely check out that video that I have posted. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about because Scott and I actually pointed out and we're talking about it. And do I have a no, I don't. For a brief second up on Facebook, it looks like I have a start of a rainbow, but I guess I don't. Darn. Um, anyway, you also have the Dahlia Lounge, and you have another signature restaurant that's on the top floor of the Grandestino Tower. So, tons of food for any of those foodies out there. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like so many great options right there for food and drinks. So love that. Love the pool options that they have. They actually have very large pools in the like the ranchero section and the different sections that are kind of away from the main area. They also have pools for those, and they're decent size, which is great because sometimes you don't want to have to lug yourself all the way over and deal with all the people that are checking out the cool and fancy pool when you just want to dip your toes in for an hour or soak in the hot tub because your feet are killing you because you walked 20 million steps that day going around Magic Kingdom chasing your kids around. So, but this is a resort I absolutely love. The one downfall with this resort is it is bus transportation only. Drinks on a lazy river sound nice. That does sound very nice. Unfortunately, you'd have to go over to Cabana Bay at Universal in order to do the lazy river. Not to say that we couldn't do it, but that does sound very, very nice, Chris. I agree. So, the one downfall that I have with Coronado Springs Resort is you do have to take the bus transportation in order to get to any of the parks. They do not have any other transportation options available, but it's really close to Hollywood Studios. So, it's literally in between Hollywood Studios and Epcot. So it's very quick to get to either of those. Magic Kingdom takes a few more minutes. And then, like I said before, Animal Kingdom takes forever for anybody to get to Animal Kingdom, no matter what resort you're at, just because it's literally set out in the very back end of the resort for the safety of the animals. So, another resort that, if anybody has ever asked for a quote from me, you've probably gotten something from Animal Kingdom Lodge, and that's because it's one of my favorite resorts. And if there's ever a Savannah View that's available for your dates, I'm going to send it to you because you never know. That could be the over the top like celebration thing that you guys want to do and get to wake up every morning and see giraffe and zebra and wildebeest and the cattle that they have out there, or the crazy headed cranes that they have. Oh my gosh, East African cranes. I love those. They're beautiful and look absolutely insane. But that is an absolutely amazing resort. Oh, sorry. I have a train coming. Mute yourself. Sorry about that, guys. I can mute on my YouTube channel. That's good to know. I don't know how to do it on my Facebook. So I hope that you guys covered your ears because, of course, he had to blast himself several times. So I apologize for that. Like I was saying with the Animal Kingdom Lodge, I really prefer Jumbo House. We have stayed at the Kidani House before, and Jumbo House, you're going to be closer to the animals. You're going to have better dining options. It's not as small. Kidani is very small and intimate. If you want to do anything, um, you really need to go take the shuttle bus over to Jumbo House in order to do extracurricular stuff. The only benefit, I don't want to say the only benefit, but one of the benefits of Kidani Village is they do have Sanaa, which is an amazing restaurant that is in the basement of Kidani Village. And they've got phenomenal bread service, plenty of curry dish options, and just very unique dining experience. So I do recommend that one. Again, whenever I post or give options for the Animal Kingdom Lodge, you're literally feeling like you're in a savannah. And for some people, that might be the only opportunity that they ever get to do like a wild safari or anything like that. And so I always show that to people as an option because maybe it's worth paying the extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, depending on how long your stay is, to stay there and have that amazing experience every morning when you wake up, as compared to staying at a value resort and not having that experience. Because when I first talk to people, like I always ask, like, "Hey, are you celebrating anything? Are you doing this? Are you doing that?" And for the most part, people are pretty good about telling me stuff. But then every once in a while, I'll get somebody that'll be like, "We decided that this is what we're going to do because this is what we wanted to do 2 years ago or 5 years ago, and we couldn't because of finances or this or that or whatever. And it's time to really pull out the stops." And so that's why I always send that one. I think if you're going to do a Disney vacation, that is the one to do. It is a long train. I'm sorry, Mike. This was the other reason why I was hoping that I'd be done before one came, but darn it. The Animal Kingdom Lodge Resort is just absolutely amazing and well worth it if you can swing it for that experience, because those are definitely going to be core memories for you. having your coffee, sipping on your coffee while you're outside, watching your zebras or your giraffes and stuff coming in. So, let me think here. Whenever I have people that are reaching out to me to start, budget is definitely very relative with Disney. Obviously, like I don't take any kind of a like planning fee or service fees or anything. I directly buy my flyers. That be one of them for helping you, so it doesn't cost you anything to use my services. It's all built into a price of what you need as well as services. And I'm going to make sure that I'm the best fit for you or your family, not what's going to be best for my wallet. Because honestly, I'm not going to be making that much of a difference whether you're staying at the Port Orleans Riverside Resort or if you're staying at the Beach Club. I mean, I'm not making a big enough commission to make it where it's like, oh, I'm going to do that one, even though they don't like it and they're going to hate me and they're not going to want to book with me ever again. No, I'm not going to do that. And I don't make enough for that to even be worth it. So just don't even worry about it. I'm going to make sure that whatever resort we discuss and we get for you guys is going to be one that you guys are going to absolutely love. You're going to enjoy as many of the aspects as possible about it. Obviously, I can't tell you that you're going to love every single thing at the resort because you're going to have a bad cast member one day that's just going to rub you the wrong way. Your feet are going to be tired and blistered at the end of the day, and you're going to be like, I can't believe I have to walk another half a mile to my room. I can't believe that, like, especially at Art of Animation Resort and the Little Mermaid rooms. And it's like, well, you specifically requested the Little Mermaid rooms. I can't physically pick those buildings up and move them closer to the food court and to the bus drop-off area for you just because you're tired at the end of the night. Trust me, I wish I could because I would have done that for myself so many times. But definitely, whenever I book things for you guys, I am always looking at best interests for you. And I hope that you all realize that and understand that whenever I am working with you and talking with you about your vacations. So, other than that, now that it's finally passing, increasingly slowly, we're still dealing with the, for those of you that aren't aware, about a mile up the road, we had a train derail at a construction site that's about a mile up the road. And so they always come barreling through really fast and then they slow down to the point that they're almost stopped by the time they get close to it. And it's just weird because they take forever. All aboard, that's right. So, and if you guys are interested in riding a train, I can't send you to Disney World because it's still not open. And what's funny about that is, in all the times that we have been to Walt Disney World and we've gone to Magic Kingdom, I think we've only ridden it maybe twice because it's been shut down for refurbishment, or like when it got shut down for Tron, like it's still shut down for Tron. It's been what, 4 years, 5 years, and it's still shut down. So believe you me, when finally able, like they finally open it back up, Scott and I might be making a special trip just to go down there to ride the Walt Disney World Railroad. As an interesting segue. So, let me see here. I do have a little bit of time left. So I think one thing I'm going to tell you guys about is my personal resort favorites based off of the category that they're in, value, moderate, and deluxe, and the reasons why I personally like them. Obviously, they're not going to be a fit for everybody because some of you are going to be like, nah, I don't care about that. But my favorite value resort at this point is probably going to be Pop Century. I've done full resort tours of all three of the All-Stars, Pop Century, and Art of Animation. I don't consider Art of Animation to be a value resort because it prices higher than most moderate resort rooms because a lot of the suites are for up to 6 people. And so I think it's very deceiving that you're like, hey, this Art of Animation resort, it's a value resort. Why is the almost $500. Like, personally, I think it needs to be bumped up into the moderate resort category because I think it's very misleading and kind of gives everybody. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that was how much it was. Because I'll get it requested, like, oh, my kid really wants to stay in the car suite, and I'm like, okay, like I can definitely quote it for you, but and you're like, oh yeah, because it's a value resort, it'll be good for us, and I'm like, yeah, I could probably get you in at Port Orleans for about $1,000 less. Like sometimes, obviously, it depends on your length of stay. I probably shouldn't even throw out the numbers, but because it does vary drastically. Hi, Amy. Thanks for joining us up there on Facebook. I appreciate it. Um, so my favorite resort for value resorts is probably going to be Pop Century. Reason why I like Pop Century, everything was completely renovated. All the rooms are completely renovated. So I like that. The All Stars have been renovated as well, except for All Star Sports. They're still working on that one. But I like the location. Um, I really like the food court, and I like the fact that I can walk across the bridge and go over to Art of Animation and see all of the amazing uh, characters and stuff that they have over there between the Cars Land area, the Lion King Suite area, Little Mermaid area. Obviously, you can't go and swim in the big blue pool because we're not resort guests to Art of Animation Resort, but you can still walk around the Finding Nemo area. And so it's a really nice thing to be able to do like on a non-park day, and it's kind of walk across and check out the other resort without having to really go anywhere. So I like that. Um, Again, I don't like Skyliners, but I do like the fact that I have another option besides a bus in order to get to and from my resort. And so that's another thing that I like. And the Skyliner will go to Hollywood Studios or to Epcot from Pop Century. So that's a benefit. I love that a lot for the Pop Century resort. As far as my moderate resort goes, it's a toss up because I have a very sentimental my heart for Port Orleans Riverside. Hi, Becky. Thanks for joining us again. Port Orleans Riverside was the very first resort that we ever stayed at on our very first trip to Walt Disney World. And so I have like all of these really fond memories and very few photos of that trip and things that we did there. And I remember that being the best shrimp Alfredo I have ever had in my life from that food court. Why? I have no idea. But like, still to this day, I'm like, that was the best shrimp Alfredo I ever had was at a food court at Port Orleans Riverside. And I just remember the very first day we got there, it was later at night, everything was dark. I'd never stayed in a place like this before. And so you walk in, you're like, oh my gosh, it's huge. And they were so nice, told us how to get to our room, got us checked in and stuff. And it was just literally like stepping into the bayou. And I was in love with Disney from that moment on. So I very much have a nostalgic feeling towards Riverside. Obviously, I'm going to have to go with more critical eye because I to values. I'm sure Deb's probably laughing at me right now because no. The other one that I would say I really, really like from the moderate category would be Coronado Springs Resort. I think it is a fantastic value for the price. It's very reasonably priced. Yes, you are going to have to take only buses, but between the Dahlia Lounge upstairs, you've got the Three Bridges restaurant that you can go to. Excuse me. It has one of the coolest pools on property, in my personal opinion, with that Aztec pyramid and the slide that comes out of it. Scott and Noah and Nick had so much fun when we stayed there and using that pool. So I think that is another really, really great option that, again, very reasonably priced for a moderate resort, especially with all of the amenities and stuff that you have there. And it's a convention center type resort. And you've got these giant conventions ballrooms that are kind of tucked off to the side, and you can really feel that it's not so Disney-fied. So if it's your first time going, or if you're just not that into like the Disney movies and things, but you still want to go to Disney like with your kids, or maybe you're going with your grandkids and you don't want to have like Disney constantly slapped in your face, like going to the parks and then coming back to the resort and have it smacked in your face some more. This is going to be the one you're going to want to go to. So I really, really like it for that. Now, my deluxe resorts. See, this one's interesting because I haven't stayed at the Polynesian, but it is definitely one of my favorite resorts. I love the location. I love the vibe. I love the food that they have there between Ohana, Tambu Lounge. You got Trader Sam's Grotto downstairs. It's absolutely amazing. We'll take these off. Um, I think it's absolutely amazing. I love it so, so much. But from the ones that we have stayed at, and we stayed at a few, Wilderness Lodge is actually probably my hands down favorite resort in the luxe category. And it's because I really, and this is me personally, again, because not everybody's going to like this. I like the rugged, outdoorsy national park vibe that you get when you stay there. I like the fact that. You've got all these the totems and stuff that are in the main lobby. I love the Whispering Canyon Cafe and the concept that they have there. I really like the quick service pickup location that they have. I love that pool area. That's absolutely amazing. I love the geyser that they have that goes off every so often, and the oh gosh, I'm trying to think of what the heck it's called. The restaurant that they have just outside, it's kind of like a hidden gem. What is it called? See, this is why I need a co-host, because he can tell me what it is when my brain doesn't want to work. I keep wanting to call it Whispering Canyon, and I know that's not it. But anyway, I absolutely love that particular location because you get to sit outside, have a fabulous meal. You can have a bison burger, crab cake, whatever it is that your heart desires that's on their menu. They've got a very good rounded out menu with drinks, and you get to look out over the lagoon and you can see where river country is, and you get to see where discovery used to be. And obviously the islands are still there, but it's not go and explore it anymore. And it's just of Disney history that's there that not a lot of people really know what they're looking at. And so that's one reason why I absolutely love it. And of course, Mike is on here going, no, Polly's the best. That's his absolute favorite. He won't stay anywhere else now. And honestly, I can't blame him. So, but yeah, those would be my top two picks, which is probably going to surprise the crap out of my husband because I'm sure he'd say that it was Animal Kingdom Lodge, would be my favorite. But Wilderness Lodge definitely has a place in my heart, and I would definitely go back and stay there again over some of the others. Snow White and Evil Queen comes to the table. Yes, over at Wilderness Lodge, that is. Oh gosh, you guys are putting me on the spot with all the names of these places. Da, 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 da. I'll think of it as soon as I'm done with the stream, I swear. But yes, that is another one that is there. That is signature dining option that they have, and it's a very, very cool one because it's one of the few places where you get to see the Evil Queen at Disney property if you're not in the Halloween season. So. But I've been on here for about 48 minutes, 49 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you for putting up with the train. I hope that you guys enjoyed my backdrop this evening. I did. Where my at the time so that you guys could see I wasn't actually looking at the camera. I was looking at the waves and stuff behind me instead. So I was talking. So probably wasn't the best choice for me to do that because I think it distracted me more than anything. Squirrel. So But thank you all so much for joining me. I hope that this was informative. If you guys have any questions, or if you are thinking about doing a Disney vacation or Universal or anywhere, definitely reach out to me. You can reach me by my email, which is megan@plumcrazyadventures.com. Or you can give us a call, 724-617-2722. Hi, Carla. Thanks for joining us. I do appreciate it. Um, Again, I've got a lot of people that are interested and have started booking for the fall and winter seasons. I've got somebody going for later Gator. I've got people that are booked already for the Halloween season at Universal and at Disney. I've also got people that have got themselves booked for Christmas at Walt Disney World, and I'm so excited. Christmas is amazing when you are at Walt Disney World, trust me. So, if you guys are thinking about doing a summer vacation last minute, definitely let me know. I can see what availability is left at the theme parks in Central Orlando, or if you're thinking of going maybe National Park or head out west and do something out that way. If you're thinking about going up to Erie, I've actually got a really great contact at the Sheraton up in Erie Bayfront. I can definitely get you hooked up there, which would be great. And just let me know what you guys are thinking about, and we'll get you taken care of. So, with all of that being said, are you guys ready for your next Plum Crazy adventure? Because I am definitely ready to get you there. Have a good night, guys.